Let's see if we are live. Are we live? Possibly. Possibly live. We are live. All right. Hello, everybody. It's been a while. Hope everyone's been doing well. Let's see. We'll give a few minutes for people to join. So, for those wondering, as always, this video is just document mass testing. So I'm going to be updating the spreadsheet with some new masks. I have a whole bunch of Trident masks that come out of Australia. They're a P2 mask. Hope they're working on FFP2 and other certifications. We have the Draeger, the new Draeger 1950 Explorer series. These are trifold Draegers that we have to test. The Envo mask. They have an N99 and a N95 version of this. We're going to test tonight too. Let's see what else. The GATA mask. Haven't tested that before, excuse me. Some make rights. And that's about it. So not a huge test, but nonetheless something to do. All right, let's see. So as always, this is the same setup we've always used. So I have a TSI 3025 counter, Oracle counter that's sampling the room air at the moment. We're going to charge that room with sodium chloride solution, so salt solution, the salt particles. That's a 16% by mass salt solution, so that's 8 grams of salt in 50 grams of water that I do, and that gives about a 70, 65-ish, 70-ish count medium diameter aerosol. So go ahead and fire that up. So you'll hear that in the background. You'll see the concentration. The concentration will be on that side. It should be like right there. Let's see how, there's like a 30-second lag between when an OBS student goes. See? Oh no, it's this one right here. See? That window there, that's the concentration. The data down there, there's a link in the description of today's video. So if you just click that link, you can see it there. All right. So we'll charge the room up with an aerosol. Someone had asked, "Hello, I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. A neighbor across the river there. I live in Minneapolis. Have you ever tested the N95 8511?" I have no idea. I think that's a 3M part number. Let's see. I don't think I've tested the 8511. What's the 3M 8511? Yeah, I have not tested the 8511. Mostly because when I did my testing before, I really wasn't testing valve masks. So I didn't do a lot with valve masks. Fine nowadays without universal mask mandates, but I think my goal is to try to inform people in the future. So I still kind of stick to unvalved masks, but we'll test a couple of them here today. I really actually don't think valves really matter that much, to be completely honest. I think I much prefer just like they can make a mask better. Don't get me wrong, but I much prefer just a highly breathable mask over that. Okay, we're about 20,000, so we're good to kick this off. We'll let this stabilize. 16,000. That's pretty good. All right. So as always, we have this same test protocol we always do. So I gotta go all the way. Let me do this actually. Let's go. Can I hide all this stuff? Let's see. I think I can do it here. If I go to view. Maybe not. There's a way to like hide the menus. I was gonna do that. It's been a while since I've had to do this all. Let's do formula bar. Actually, I do need the formula bar. Grid lines. Let's not do that actually. Let's show formula bar. All right. Well, I remember at some point in time there was a way to like hide all the stuff here. Let's see if I can see view. It's been too long since I've been in here. There we go. All right. Last time I was in here was like March of this year, so it's been a long time. Not a lot has changed in the mask world in that time. A little bit, but not much. Things are definitely slowing down, which is good and bad. last year. There we go. Yeah, March 19th, the last one. Well, I'll start with the Moldex N100 control. 100. It's cup shaped. It's gonna be as worn. It's white. Headband. Upstream concentration is 1/864. All right, let's grab that mask, hook it up, hang it over the head here. Sorry if I clipped the microphone there. My apologies. Don the mask. Call it 5.3 particles per cc. So 99.97, that's pretty dang good. In the past, I usually get like 99.9. Let's see what I got last time. Where's my 3? Yeah, 99.88, so actually I did better than last time. Oh, that was control 2. Oh, because I am control 2. That reminds me. This is the second mask. Number 2. All right, let that count. So 1.543 is the downstream. 3. All right. Now let's go ahead and do the 3M. Yeah, 8010. Control number 1. Number 95. It's cup shaped. It's worn, it's white, it's headband. Alright. Luckily for me, I labeled these. So we'll do 1. This is the old one. This one's pretty blown out. It's been around a long time. A couple of years. Let that stabilize for a second. Alright. Let's see. DDZ says, how's the summer going? My summer has been very busy. Between Open Arrows, the nonprofit, the Oslo project that I helped found and start up and do that, it has been like insanely busy. The busiest summer I think I've ever had since like grad school. But it is good. It's good that we're getting a lot done. There's a lot of stuff happening at the same time. Some good mass stuff that's happening. Open Arrows is busy. Everyone's up and running with the projects there. Kick off at 1.608 EVA 4. So we're busy, but that's good. The busier we are, that means we're making progress and making things happen. So I like to be busy. All right, jumping around a little bit, we'll call it 137.7. Get the upstream concentration. Let's see. Naomi Person says, "Hi from the Bronx. Thanks as always. I work in an early childhood center. Just got notice of 2 new confirmed COVID cases. First in many months. Bring on the mask. I never stopped wearing one." Yes, yes. COVID, unfortunately, to much people's surprise, is to most people that are still wearing masks, they get it. To everyone else, yeah, they're a little surprised to know that it's still happening, it's still spreading, and cases are picking back up. So yeah, wear a good mask, and that will significantly reduce the probability of getting infected. 1.436. I know they're annoying, and that's why we spend time sitting in a bathroom to find the good ones. Ones that fit well, ones that are most, in my opinion, the most important, highly breathable. I think that's, to me, the most important consideration of selecting a mask. Like, I think that's pretty much all I recommend these days. If it's not highly breathable, I'm not really interested in it. Number 2, 95. It's cup. It's as worn. It's white. It's headband. So we're going to test the second one that we have, 1.405 e to the 4. So this is number 2. So I have 2 controls. This one's pretty nice and new. Ooh, much tighter. Those straps have not stretched out as much as the other one has. All right, call there at 65.65. All right, there you go. Pop that off. Let's see. Invincible Dragon. Thumbs up to you too. Liz L says, "COVID never left." Yeah, it is still around. LS says, "My partner just tested positive." Ah, bummer. Hopefully they're feeling okay. See if they get Paxlovid. Run some air cleaners in the space, and you can probably avoid it. But hopefully everyone's okay. TD says, "It's kind of lonely out here as a consistent masker." Well, I mask everywhere too, except indoors. I don't wear a lot of masks outdoors. I know it's lonely, but I feel like personally, I guess I don't. Maybe it's just because I don't really give a crap anymore what anyone thinks. 1.249 either 4. I feel like it's very. I mean, I think there's always going to be the a-holes out there that give people a hard time. But I feel like I don't think nowadays anyone gives you even a second look. At least in Minneapolis, if you're wearing a mask, like no one even looks, no one even cares. 99.5 on that one. That's back to where. So you can see that, over the period of this mask. When did they first time I tested? Let's find out. This mask here is originally from. Let's see. When did I first time I used this mask? Probably to 2020 was probably. Oh yeah, right here. 2020, December of 2020. So almost 2 3/4 years ago. Probably even maybe before then. Oh, look at that. Yeah, a year. So like almost 3 years ago, it's gone from 99.5 to 99.1. So like, wow, 3 years of use. I mean, not like continuous use, but like It just highlights these things are really robust. All right, so now we're going to use the Moldex control. This one's been on its last leg. We'll see how it's doing. It's been slowly dying as well. I think the masks just start to lose some of their shape. And so that happens. So this is the, what is this? God, I haven't done this in so long. I'm blanking on the name of this mask. The Air Queen Nano. There we go. It's non-rated. It's a boat shape. It's as worn. It's white. And it's ear loop. All right. Let's see. That concentration data. Jay Catterson says, nice to see you. Nice to see you. It's been a while since I've been on here. I haven't stopped working on mask stuff. I just have been a little bit more behind the scenes. Not a lot of masks to test, to be honest with you. If I see a mask and I'm like, wow, that mask I need to test, I'll do it for myself. But like in general, I feel like there hasn't been a ton of like masks where I'm like, wow, I got to test that. Really, I'm after the most breathable stuff. I haven't seen a lot of breathability changes. All right, let's toss on the Nano control. Yeah, this thing's like on its last leg. Oh, I got hooked on something there. Probably get about 90%. Well, they're at 12:54. We're jumping along a little bit there. That's kind of been on a steady downward trajectory, that mask. So I don't know why exactly that is, but yeah, let's see. I think so. Healthcare people are, being judgmental about mask wearing. I think that, and I'll do a video on this one. So this is for your live viewers only. They get the inside peek. I'm going to do a video about why masking in healthcare makes no sense right now. It's not to say that they shouldn't wear masks. It is to say that our strategy for masking in healthcare is completely stupid. One, making everyone wear surgical masks for an airborne disease makes no sense, right? Like, yes, it's better than nothing. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, sure, it made sense. We have much better tools and understanding and knowledge, yet we force a bunch of healthcare workers to wear surgical masks, which don't provide a ton of care or protection, and they suck. Surgical masks suck. Now, you could argue, well, they should wear N95s, and I would say that wearing an N95 all day in the current fleet of variety of N95s, although I actually don't wear usually an N95. I wear usually an ear loop mask, but we have people in my work that wear it, and they kind of suck to wear. So I don't blame them for not wanting to do that. So I get both sides of it, but to me, I think healthcare workers in certain portions should definitely be wearing masks, and they should be wearing better masks than what they're provided. So making everyone wear surgical masks is stupid. Also, interestingly enough, in the mask debate world, I was digging into this because someone had mentioned to it. It turns out, like, we always assume that people wear surgical masks because they stop, disease transmission and wounds when people are like working on and doing surgeries, right? Like surgical masks, right? You're doing surgery with them. Do you know that if you dig through the literature, like they don't find a difference between people that wear surgical masks when doing surgeries and not. Like there's no outcome difference. There's no infection difference. Like I think surgical masks might just be kind of like a holy cow of the, or this like this kind of hygiene theater thing that everyone uses, but it doesn't really do anything. It's kind of, don't dig into it. You'll lose your mind. Just warning you now. So I'm gonna turn the generator on while we wait here. Yeah, we'll get up a little higher. As we get ready, we're going to test out the Invo Pro. This is a new mask. This is the Invo Pro N95. I got a chance to wear it a little bit. It's good. I like it. I think it's better than the other Invo. In terms of comfort, I think they did a better job in upgrading this, but Invo Pro N95 is an N95 rated. The design's really nice. They did a really good job on the design. I'm not a fan of the form factor, and the breathability is good on it though. I'll have to check. I haven't compared it. It's like right next to the old Invo. I'll have to look at the data, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. LS partner got Praxlovid. That's great. They accept. Yeah, I think nowadays you can just say that you have COVID and they'll give you Praxlovid. So it's good. I think that's the way it should be. Just let people have it. It's an effective tool. Although eventually the disease, like COVID, will probably evolve to become resistant to it at some point. But in the meantime, it's going to save a lot of lives, and so it's important to use. EG 5.1, yes, it seems like that's also what's hitting the U.S. is this same variant that seems to be causing a lot of the issues, but it isn't. I haven't been tracking too closely what the current. I mean, I know it's of lineage XBB, but it's even for me who tries to stay up to date as much as I can, it is so hard to track everything that's happening. So yeah, let's see. Naomi Person, said, could I trouble you to point out which hearing refers to breathability? Well, which heading? Breathability is, in my chart, in my data, what you want to use now is the computed pressure drop. So column M, and the lower the number, the better. If it's getting into the sub 60, that's a really good breathable mask. Really big. So like, for example, we tested the well before. Shemtex Breathe was in 61, but the filtration efficiency was a little low on that. But like if you compare that to the well before Pro, 98.5 with a fit factor or with a pressure up at 67. So lower is better on that column, and 67 is pretty solid. The most breathable that I've tested to date is still the 3M 9105 V-Flex. I don't know where that one's at. But it's I think it's the lowest at like 58 or something like that. So anyways, lower number better. Column M. That's the most breathable version. I'll do a video. I keep saying that, but I will get to it eventually. It's my goal to do. That's why I had to test this week. Every time I'm going to say I'm going to do a new video, I start to get on it, and then someone goes and makes a new mask, and then I have to add it to my test list. Okay. So Invo Pro here, we're ready to rock and roll. It is 2.55 e to the 4. And I'm going to don the mask. Now this mask is nice because it has a halo option for the head strap, which I like a lot. I like halo head straps. I think when Open Arrows finishes their mask head strap design, we'll be doing a halo design as well. I like them a lot. It really just distributes the load nicely across the head. All right. But I just can't get it. It's sitting right, but it's like a little uncomfortable. There we go. Jaw motion's pretty good too. Color 194. 194. 99.2, pretty dang good. It's pretty good for an N95. It's on the kind of competitive with the 8010 there. In terms of breathability, it feels about the same too. So it feels more breathable than the prior version. Let's see, Gabrielle else here. What mask would you recommend for bigger faces? I love the filter KN95s, but they don't make them. So large mask in the ear loop space. While we wait for that data to come in, it'll take a second here. I don't know if they still offer it. Let's see. God, what is the name of that? Longham Merchant, I think is what it was called. What was the name of that company that made the mask that I'm going to recommend? I don't know if they still make it. Just 1 second here. Oh, there it is. Longham Merchant. There we go. Let's see if they still make it. It's not the most breathable, but it's the one that's the biggest. And my father-in-law still uses it. Oh yeah, looks like they're toast. So they're done. Damn it. The mask world is slowly dying. Okay, so I'd have to dig in the index of bifolds. That was the one I was going to recommend. Actually, let's see if we can get it from somewhere else before we say it. So they were the importer for a while. The Arun KN95. Okay, let me grab that list real quick. 2.191 to the 4. Let's close that. Oh, don't have something else at the top. 2.191. Pop it off of there. So that was the Arun was like one of the biggest bifolds that I was aware of. It fit my father-in-law who has a larger face. Let's see. So but that was the company that was importing. I don't know if they might probably most of the mass stuff is dead now. Like if you were a small manufacturer, you're dead. Damn. Just sure you can have my location. Arun KN95. Let's see if anyone's offered anymore. Yeah. 20 pieces for $70. That's overpriced. Dang. I don't know if anyone carries it anymore. Yeah, out of stock. So that's a good question. In the trifold space, if you're like you're in the ear loop space, go check out Collect had the extra larges from. Let's see if they still have it. Face mask. What brand was that? It was I used to have all this memorized, but I haven't had to do it in like 6 or 8 months. It was, what brand was that? Mega Fit XXL. Here we go. Yeah, so they have like this version. This is like a trifold and extra large. So that's one option. Moldex makes a medium large version that's a little bit bigger than a Oro. And one that it's hard to get, but it's super cool is this Trident extra large. This is like an extra large Aura if you're after these. These are a little hard to come out of Australia. So that's another option, but they're a little tough to get. I'll also think about bifold space because you had mentioned the filter 95. So it's really stupid because like a lot of good masks are disappearing because no one's buying them because COVID's over. All right, let's check out the Invoke Pro 90 N99. Now this is the same design, but it has a valve and it's N99 media. The mask design is, I'll just check, but I'm 99% sure it's identical. Yes, because it's the same mold number, 48012. So, yeah, we'll do that one next. Set up on the keyboard there. Oops, it's falling down. So it's the Invoke Pro N99. It's N99. It's cup shaped. Copy all this, paste it. Let me take a look and see what this is at 1.788 to 4. All right, so let's see how much better it is with this media than it is with the N95 media. I don't think it really, in terms of COVID, this really doesn't matter. Oh, dude, man, I got that headband cut on the other side of the board. In terms of COVID, like filter media really doesn't matter as much. Wildfire smoke it does, but not for COVID. N95 versus N99 is really not going to be that different. because COVID particles are really relatively in the world of what we're talking about big, relative to what I'm testing. Someone had asked. Let's see. DZ asked, do you use KCl for your test salt? I actually use sodium chloride, table salt, Morton's table salt in this case. So, for those wondering. We must be getting a slight leak from somewhere. It's not dropping that much. As much as I would expect to. All right, call it 283. 283. So, weirdly, the N99 did worse than the N100. Now, N95. Now, you're saying, hey, Aaron, how can that be? And I did check this is N99. And that's because there's probably a little leak on the face seal. So, I am fairly freshly shaven, but I'm getting a little leak on this gel seal somewhere. Now, not enough that I still would probably pass a fit test. So, we can check it out. I'll bring out the Porticount after. I'll put that aside, the Porticount test. But yeah, that can happen. So my test is a combination of filter media and face seal. We call that a total inward leakage test. And so the test aerosol that I use, like 70 nanometers, which is very, very difficult for them to get particles to get captured. So it's like, I always say it's a worst case condition. I actually sat down last week and actually computed it for actual COVID respiratory aerosols, what it looks like, and it actually surprised me. I'll show it on later when we get to later in the night, but it surprised me how effective respirators are in terms of their filtration efficiency and against COVID stuff, but not so much. But that's still not great because we still use them for wildfire smoke, and that so much doesn't matter. Wildfire smoke has lots of little particles you want to filter out, so you still got to do that. All right, next up, let's do the GATA mask. This thing is an elastomeric mask, but I had bad luck getting it to seal. It is non-rated. I think it actually might be KN95, maybe. I'm not sure. God, it's already almost 9 o'clock. Wow. Gotta get moving here. I mean, it has one that's gray. It's got ear loops. It's about to get hooked up. Check the comments here quickly. Let's see. Travis. What's happening, Travis? Happy to see you again, too. Hope things are good on the West Coast there for you. Korea had mass pre-COVID, so there's still lots of, all the KF94s are really good. It's really the KN95 spaces, and mostly importers of KN95s in the U.S. because they're trying to compete against the Amazons of the world. So that's been kind of a tough spot for them. All right, 1.394 e to the 4. Now, I don't really like how this mask, the filter media, gets held in, so I'm doing my best to make sure that it's sealed appropriately, but I really don't like how the filter media is captured on this mask. So it could be problematic in the future. Oh, breathability is not very good. Filtration, not great either. Leaking somewhere. Not on the seal, but in the filter media. Oh, they're 2584. 81%. Yeah, not really that great. Hard to say what's going on there. If it's leaking, I'll put it to the port account checkout later tonight. See if it's a filter media issue or if it is a seal. Seal felt good. So, you know, the seal feels fine. It feels like putting that filter media in that mask is really not, it just is kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it like just clips in and is held by the silicone with this like inner shield or inner like thing that's supposed to like help hold against it. Like not a good positive seal there. So you could get leakage around the filter media. YouTube Punk, thank as always. This is kind of last minute, so sorry I didn't give you a heads up. I just, I decided that I had some free time tonight and I was like, I need to get stupid testing done. I hadn't done it in 6 months, so I had a pile building, and so I wanted to get rid of this pile so I can stop looking at it every time I walk in my basement. All right, let's call it there at, where is my at? 1.4280 to the 4. 1.4280 to the 4. All right. Next up, what do we got fun? Any elastomerics left? No, that's the end of the elastomerics. All right, let's play the game. These are two Makerites. They were used in a study, an Israeli mass study that became famous as it got included in the Cochrane review that quote-unquote masks don't work. And somehow the people that were using it used only the Makerite N95 or 9500-N95, which is a this mask is very big. If you like cup masks, if you like really big cup masks, this is going to be the mask for you. I don't like it because it's a cup mask, but it is really big. And I was surprised that the pass rate of this would be, I think it would be very low in most populations. It is a very big mask. Now the small is a little bit better, but it is still a big one. So we'll just connect it here. We'll test it. So we'll see how we do. I think it'll probably work for me in this one static position. I don't do a lot of full motion testing like NIOSH OSHA style testing, but we'll just see how we do in a static test. I bought them. I might as well use them. Try them out. It's funny how cheap masks are. I will say one nice thing is that, man, you can get masks for cheap. I saw Gerson's out there for like basically nothing. I see the Jackson Safety. That's always my favorite deal as we wait this to stabilize. If you let's see, Jackson Safety has like N95. Let's see, they have the duckbill style. They look just like the Kimberly Clark versions. I think they're made by the same company. So these ones, let's see. Oh, they're all out? Oh, maybe they're not carrying it anymore. Oh, they're out. Was it Jackson Safety? Or was it, no, it was Northern Safety. Yeah, sorry, you go to Northern Safety to buy the Jackson Safety one. Yeah, they're at a bag of 50 for $5 or 10 cents a mask. I mean, it's like $5 for a bag of freaking 50 masks. It is insane. It was $1.43 mask. Now it's 10 cents. That is insane to me. That is so awesome to see that. Where were we at? Where was this like, 2 years ago? I think we'd be talking a different story if we had this many N95s. All right, let's jump in. 1.283 to the 4. 10 cents a mask. I mean, like, it's insane. 10 cents for an N95. Yeah, look how far this mask goes under my chin. It's going to pass because I don't feel any leaks. But it is a big one. All right, called it 89.6. 89.6, so Can't knock the filter media. I got 99.3. I'd probably pass this one. But you see how far it goes under my chin. If I had a shorter chin line, I would never pass in this mask. But I am a Goldilocks of masks. Pretty much everything fits me. That's what I found. And I've done fit testing. You've seen my fit testing in the other tabs there. I pass up pretty much everything. It's really because I just don't have a very tall nose bridge. That's what I think the big difference is between me and a lot of other testers out there. Is nose bridge height really is what dominates. All right. Let's see. Got a couple seconds here. Lane says that I still wear a mask, Seivu, when I take public transit and go for shopping. No, I think that's a public transit for sure. Shopping too. I think people historically have overestimated the risk of shopping for the shopper. Mostly because, when we think about what defines the risk, it's, how much aerosol and for duration. And typically you're not around a lot of other shoppers for a long period of time. You still should mask, don't get me wrong. But in terms of with your mask, not that really that risky of a activity. I think the people kind of overestimated it and said and understandably, because it's strangers, right? No one trusts anyone else, understandably so. This is an N95. We're going to do the small version of this. It's cup. It's going to be the same. There we go. But, grocery stores, depending on what country you live in, the U.S., they usually have quite high ceilings. So it's good amount of dilution, short exposure time. Be interesting if we had epidemiological data to know how often cases were happening at the grocery store. But, yeah. All right. Let's kick it on. We got 1.1 e to the 7. This is the small version, which is still pretty big, to be honest with you. I'm still getting this is the size I would wear. It's much more reasonable. All right, I called it 88.12, so not much different than the other one. Pop that up on there. Get ready for the next one. We got another make right here ready to go. That's the surgical variety. Alan had noted also that in a lot of places that grocery stores had low CO2, which means they have high outdoor air ventilation, which is, I think, of course, we have to generalize. I think there's definitely going to be stores that are not as good, and but you have to generalize and say, is it a high-risk space? I would say, I wouldn't really consider grocery stores a high-risk space. I think that, honestly, the highest-risk space is your home with people. I think that's why I would be willing to bet, bars, restaurants, events, conferences, stuff like that, where people are staying really close to their long drive, airplanes, travel, those kind of things. Yeah, I would definitely wear an N95 for those. Or at least a mask of some type. Travel, I think is quite very, very high risk. So definitely wearing an N95 for that. But your loop for everything else is probably okay, depending on how well it fits you. But yeah, in terms of ventilation and stuff, movie theaters also can be all over the place, depending how busy they are and how well ventilated they are. I think one thing too is that when CO2 meters are good, but they only provide you outdoor ventilation. So oftentimes HVAC systems recirculate flow, right, for cooling. So the air goes back through the HVAC system. And that does a couple things, right? There's a filter in there, which we don't know what it is. Might be MERV 11, might be MERV 13. But it also dilutes it with the rest of the building's air. And so I think, what you see is that the effective ventilation as in terms of particle exposure, so that would be a corollary for transmission of disease, is usually most spaces are higher than what the CO2. So like you can have lots of recirculation. It doesn't always mean that. Like high CO2 can mean that it has no HVAC system running too. So it's like not all the time, but it's more complicated than that. We're kind of missing some tools in our toolkit to kind of knock out some of that stuff. We hope to help with that at Open Arrows, but yeah. So this is the surgical mask variety of the Make-Right. Now, it has little adjustable head straps. It's definitely a small. So what does that tell you about what they think about who's going to wear this? Their target market is not large, burly men. It's a fairly small mask. It's actually probably smaller than their other N95 small. It feels smaller to me. I call it 67.8. Kind of settled in about the mid 60 there, so it's called 67.8. So I got 99.28. Damn good mask, Make-Right. Not very breathable though, but good filter media in it. Someone had said that their JR, I still use Evergreen Clean Top. If you like it, it's great. The best mask is the one you wear and that fits you well, and I think that's what we should always focus on. The one that fits you the best and that you're most likely to wear. You might have your mask, like that's why, in general, I think, if you like elastomerics, they're great, but in general, I find most people would struggle with an elastomeric respirator because they're so heavy and warm and, yeah, so, it's just one of those things, like, find the best mask that you can wear. That's a good point. We really need to focus on making the built space safe. Can't rely on masks forever, but we'll still need them. They're not going away, but let's call it their 8710. 8710. All right, generator, go back on here. But we need more HVAC. All kinds of stuff. All right, let's do the draggers. Oh wait, I got more Make-Rights. Dang it, more Make-Rights. It's like they never end. That's what happens when you order all the Make-Rights. Mac-Rights. Mac-Rights? I'm not sure. Mac-Right? I'm not sure what you call them. Ear loop version. It's going to be a black one. It's a KN95. So it's a Mac-Right. They have a number on it. What's the number? 601B. 601B. KN95. It's bifold. The as worn. It's black. And it is ear loop. And let that concentration come up a little bit. All right. So we'll just bring that concentration up. gives us more particles to count, so higher on the outside means higher on the inside, which means more statistical accuracy. Just because you might measure 0 on a particle counter doesn't mean that it's actually 0. It's kind of one of the problems is that low concentrations are harder to measure, so higher the concentration outside the mask, the easier it is to measure it, so we'll just let that stabilize for a second. Still got Draegers, we got the 4-box of Trident mask to go through, and I got the Fudakin, which is no longer sold, but it was available in Canada. I had someone who's like, I have a whole bunch of these, they fit me great, but I'm not sure how good they are, and I can't buy more, and I've been wearing them, and I'm just curious, and I said, sure, I'll test it. They're all like Aura knockoffs, which is okay with me. More masks that fit, the better. I like the trifold style. They usually fit a lot more faces than other styles, like bifolds or cup, but not everyone. I have seen some people work better with a bifold than a trifold. All right. So 2.65 e to the 4, we're going to have to don the mask. Okay, so I'm going to get, so first of all, on bifolds, one trick is like, and I didn't do it enough on this mask, is flatten the nose wire with your thumb and finger, so it's like a nice flat shape, so that it forms better to your nose. And then you can like kind of bend it around your finger as if your finger was your nose. Because bifolds have this problem that they smash them square, and no one has a sharp 90-degree nose. These ear loops are a little too loose too, but I think we'll survive. I'm getting a leak right at my nose. It's leaking at the nose. I can feel it. All right, call it 783. 783. About 97%. We got a leak in that mask. So I don't fit every mask. But you could argue that in that sitting position, I would have 97% protection from COVID and probably higher. We'll talk about that once we're done with testing the masks. I'll show you the spreadsheet. It's available to everyone in the Google Drive thing that I have going on, but I think it's important to have that conversation. YouTube Punk's still rocking the V-Flex. I think I rock the V-Flex all the time. Whenever I'm on a plane, it's a V-Flex. Or any high-risk situation, I'm rocking a V-Flex. It's the goofiest looking mask, but the breathability on it is so nice. I feel like it's just a little bit more comfortable, in my opinion, than the Aura. Let's see, I should have. What did I do with my... Ah, here it is. The Fix the Mask. Now, this is one thing this is one thing I wish some other mask testers would do is make sure that you test the condition in which you can get the best seal possible. Then you know if it's the filter media or if it's the seal. Because maybe if I didn't put this on upside down, I wouldn't be so struggling here. Here we go. Let's try this again. We'll use the Fix the Mask brace. This is a mask brace that will help seal the mask to my face to eliminate any leakages. Not sure if they're still around. It's a good product. I like the idea, especially in the use of surgical masks in the beginning. Right during the beginning of the pandemic, this made total sense. You had surgical masks. They had pretty good filter medium. Not amazing. They're not N95, but way better than wearing just a surgical mask as is. All right, we can get started here. 2.49 e to the 1. .491 e to the 4. right, call there at 80.2. 80.2. All right, so filter media, 99.68. As worn for me, 97%, meaning there was leakage. And that leakage represented real leakage happening going around the mask. So that mask not actually fit me that well. So, you know, there you goes to show you not every mask fits me. Filter media on that, pretty dang good. Not super breathable on the inside, but still a pretty solid mask in terms of filtration efficiency. 99.68. They put good media in it, but again, bifolds, you know, in general, I find that like they're probably the least, the worst tight style of masks. Like cup and bifolds are some people they work great, but I would say for most people they don't work so well. 2.133 e to the 4. All right, we got another Make Right. Oops, let's go another Make Right here. So this is the Make Right 801 N95 with adjustable head loops, bifold style. But it's hook and it's the taper and hook shape like the Korean style. So a little different. Not it's still a bifold, but it's not the classic KN95 style. So this is a Make Right. What did I say that number was? 801 N95 N95. How about KN95? There we go. It's bifold. It's going to be as worn. It's blue. It's headband. It's an N95. All right. Let's rock this thing here. We are at 1.926 e to the 4. 1.926 e to the 4. All right. All right, color at 66.51. Oh, that's a 99.65. So good for Make Right. Made another mask that works. All right, Make Rights are over. Next up, we'll put that on our board account test. Next up is, let's do the Fudukin, and we'll do this one. This one was sent to me a long time ago by someone in April. I think, what was this person's name? I have to look it up. I'll have to look it up and find how they got my stuff, and I'll email them. They sent it to me like 6 months ago, and I'm just now getting to it. So, but it was the last time I've tested anything, so it's not like I did it because I didn't like them. Just I haven't tested anything in a long time. 1.794 e to the 4. 1.794 e to the 4. All right, some good little mass there. Pop that off. Let's do the Fudukin KN95. This is a, let me just set it down when I write this because it's got a lot of words. Paste that. Fudukin FDK-MF-20-01. 20-01. It's KN95 certified. It's a trifold, or it's a boat shape, sorry. It's going to be as worn. It's white. It's headband. And it's about to get hooked up. All right, so the Fudukins. Can't buy these anymore, but someone was rocking them. Canada has a whole bunch of them. Or maybe you can still buy them from some vendor, but they're not making them anymore for them, but they want to know if they're legit. Their child, I think, is wearing them, so yeah. Mike Trout said, whoa, the mask guy is still doing testing. Yes. Sadly, I'm still, not really sadly. I feel like when you have a big database like this, you kind of owe everybody just to keep it up to date. So, yes, I still test. Mostly, I think it's if we find a really nice breathable mask. Like these Draggers are really nice. I think these are going to be like a top pick for me. In terms, I haven't worn one long term. I just got them a week ago. But they're a nice design. Tridents are really awesome. I wish you could get these in the U.S. because they make an extra large. I mean, this is a freaking monster mask. This thing's huge. Got a big face. You got a big mask. All right, let's get this fired up here, and I'll answer that question. 1.448 e to the 4. 1.448 e to the 4. All right, I'm going to don the Fudikin. It's a small. This is a smaller mask. But I think it's... Ooh, it's a tight one. It's a tight one. Yeah, I'm getting a leak somewhere. All right, we'll do it as worn. Well, let's just test it that way because I'm not really that interested in this. Let's just hook the mask. So there's a leak in this mask. I can feel it. It's very slight, but I can tell that there was like this right here at the seals right here. They're not, this mask is too small for me. We'll try to seal it up. Color 99.25. All right, pop that up. It's just a little too small for me, so it's just opening up. Ooh, right here, I can feel a little leak right there, and it's because it's getting opened up so far on my face. Too small for me. But legit mask. They were wondering if they're legit or not. All right, someone had asked, what is the size specific? Is there a specific size of particle are you measuring or range? Yeah. So in the Google Drive folder with all this stuff, you can click that in the shared database. There's a particle size scan data, 1.452 to the 4, and it's about 70 nanometers. So if you just click this link here, you go to this database. All the data's here. So you can go to TSI SMPS scan from 19th of March. This is the latest data I have. And this is what the size distribution looks like for the test aerosol. So that's the distribution. So pretty broad. That's 300, it goes out to 300 nanometers there, but primarily the count median diameter is 70. It actually should be in this picture down here at the bottom. So in terms of number count, the count median diameter is 50.9. the mean of 80, or geometric mean. Actually, count median diameter is geometric mean. So it's, I think that's the same, right? No, count median diameter multiplied by geometric standard deviation. So that's not entirely true. But anyways, it's around 55 nanometers for the test aerosol for the day that I ran this test, which is the same test aerosol I have. So this is what that distribution of particles look like. Well, you notice there's a lot of stuff here that's really small. This is where filters perform the worst. Melt balloon performs the worst, and I'll show that in a little bit. All right, so that's what we're testing with. All right, that was fun. Let's go to the Dragerland. To the Germans. The Germans are coming. All right, the Draeger. Let's start off with the small. So they make two sizes to this, a medium, large, a small. They also give a little fitting card to it, I saw. They included, that was super cool. This little card you can set on your face. It'll tell you what size it is. I really like that they did that. It is the Explorer. $19.50 and $95. Small. N95. It's boat shaped. It's going to be as warm. It's white. It's headband. It's going to get hooked up. All right, let's let that stabilize for a second. Let's see. So, let's see. Hey, I got some mask sprays. Probably on your recommendation. So, yeah. The mask breaks are nice. They're useful if you need them. Terry asked, what's your current everyday mask? So at work at Open Arrows, I wear a Seibu Ultra 3D. That one fits me great. I fit tested in that one, with the exclusion of like one exercise. I think the up-down, I leak at like, I can't remember what it was. I technically still pass the fit test requirement of 100, but I'm much better off in every exercise. But I rock that one. Why do I like it? Big chunky ear loops. I prefer ear loop masks because I like to take it off, have a sip of coffee and stuff like that when I'm working. Also, it's the thinnest mask I have. It feels the coolest, so it's the least hot mask. There's some other ones that are going to do that soon too. I was chatting with Shaz from Well Before. They've actually been just like killing it. I got to actually make my videos so that we can talk about Well Before. They have made a really good mask. They've been making good masks, like getting better and better. So you can't knock them, but they're making a good product. All right, let's rock this Draeger. Now this has a split ear loop, or a split headband, so like you can do this. This mask is a little small for me, so we'll try my best to get it on here, but yeah, it's too small. But it's nice. Breathability is really good, probably better than Aura's. At least it feels that way. Yeah, it's better than an Aura. Feels hot, not as hot either. All right, 43.16. Pretty damn good. It's a good mask. Mike says I still got two t-shirt bags filled with Auras. Yeah, they've been cheap as well. I have way too many masks in my house. I feel like. All right, waiting for that to stabilize. Someone asking another question. What did it see? Kind of miss ear loop, but feels safer in my Aura. What is that one? The one I'm testing is the Draeger. Draegers are really nice. Probably going to be a little bit more breathable than the Aura. A little harder to get a hold of. I think the Auras are so nice because they're just everywhere, right? Now you get a 9205 anywhere. But these just feel more breathable than the Aura. And just as protective. Just as protective. Maybe even, we'll try this one. I didn't get the unvalve version. They only had the medium and large available right now in the valve version, so that's what they sent me. They did provide these to me for free, so full disclosure. But the tests don't lie. I've been sent lots of free masks that have performed poorly, so the tests always are the tests. But yeah, the Draegers are really nice. It feels like a little bit of a lighter mask than the Aura. So this is the Draeger Explore. This is a valve, so this must be 1950 and 95D. All right, down to just a few masks left. All right, coming in at 92.35. We got to charge this thing back up after this one, but we'll get started here. So it's got the necklace style hang, which I always like. I got to find the other strap. There it is. Yeah, definitely more breathable than the Aura. Call it at 29.61. Yeah, 99.68. Pretty damn good. Nice and breathable, too. Yeah, no, the valve's nice. I mean, I think here's my opinion on the valves. I don't know if they're the best design solution because you lose some filter area for the valve. So it slightly increases inhalation resistance. Meaning like how hard it is to breathe in here. But it improves and makes it easier to exhale. What I find, in my experience, is that it's the inhalation side that drives more of my comfort than the exhalation. So I find that the valves aren't really that useful, except in masks that are really hard to breathe in, like an N99 or an P100, where you really can't make it any more breathable on inhalation, so you just make it a little easier to breathe on the exhalation, and it feels more comfortable. So like, if you have a really breathable mask, I feel like the valves don't do much for you. But okay, how about the world's smallest headband mask? Look at this tiny little thing. It's not going to fit me. Oh my God, I'm just a baby mask. Let's turn the generator on. But this thing is tiny. This is a Trident Australian. I don't think I'm going to get this thing on my face. Oh, I think it'll work. This will be a fun one. It's a baby mask. Yes, so in periods of universal masking, do not wear valve masks. I mean, the idea of source control for respirators is well understood. They actually work even better on during exhalation if they're well sealed to your face in terms of protection to others. So in periods of universal masking, don't wear a valve mask. Today, where masks are optional and people can choose to wear a mask or not wear a mask, I don't really see a big issue with wearing a valve mask because at this point, you know, you could just wear no mask and have COVID. So, like, at least an exhalation valve gives some other protection to people. But why should you have to sacrifice your comfort because they don't want to wear masks? So, I don't see any issue with that. But again, universal masking, if that comes back, don't wear valve masks because then you're kind of jerk. All right, we're going to let this charge up here. But John's a nice person, still covers that exhalation valve, so props where props are due. Just gonna... my mask fail. John said, let's see, and Nanner made the comment, and the odds of universal masking coming back is, well, you know, I don't think for COVID it'll come back, but if H5N1 jumps species to humans, it'll do, I would suspect it would do it by airborne transmission. And if it does, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in masking again. So this is the Trident P2 extra small. So I already tested this one, so I'm not sure why I want to test it again. Let's not test the extra small again. Let's just do the small. So I already did the extra small. I got a small. Let's do that one. Got to measure them anyways at some point. Let's kick that off. This is a small. And they even have a number for it. I should write down. No, they do not have a number. Oh, no, they do. It's the RTC FFP2S. RTC FFP2S. It's a P2 rated mask. That's the Australian standard, the ANSI standard for respirators. I don't know why it never took off anywhere else, but that's what it is. Let's get the background. We got 20 seconds here. The mask closed up on it, so we're going to get a spike. Nice nose foam. Definitely a better design. All right. .64 e to the 6. 3.64 e to the 6. No, that can't be right. I'm getting tired. 3.64 e to the 4. Time for bed for me almost. Yeah, it's 9:30. It is actually almost bedtime. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. Look. Oh boy. This is going to be a fun ride. All right, 149.2. 149.2. Good filter media. Breathability is pretty decent. I think the Draeger is better, but that's a small mask, so it's not quite apples to apples. Someone caught my typo of an N94. It's a new standard. You didn't know about the N94 standard? Only the cool kids know these days. I won't tell you. No, it's a typo. It's as you can tell, I'm a little sleepy on a Sunday. It's been a long weekend. Been working all weekend on all kinds of projects. 3.36 e to the 4. All right, so another one done. All right, let's go to the regular one. I've never actually tested the regular size. So this is the regular Trident. Aura. It's basically the size of an Aura. So it should fit nicely for me. I guess it's not like a... It's not... It doesn't have a size stamp on it, so I'm guessing the default is a medium large. That would be my guess. Everything else is small, extra small. The standard does not. Let's see. John Jenness, hey Aaron, have you done any tests on the Microclimate Air 2 for people who can't deal with contact on the skin/face? I have not. I haven't tested any PAPRs or PAPR-like devices, mostly because I think that for the general public they're impractical, but I understand why there's some use cases, 932E4, why there's some use cases about where they would make sense. But no, I haven't tested any. You can test them in a similar setup. I think there should be someone with a port account out there that can help them, though. I feel like this is maybe slightly smaller than the Aura. Now, I didn't send me a large. They sent me an extra large. I didn't get a large. Let's just see what sizes they have to offer while we wait here for a second. So this is Trident AUS PV2. Okay, so I'm wearing the regular. Oh, they're 146.8. 146.8. Pretty nice mask. Pretty nice mask. Really high performing, so that's excellent to see. All right, one more to go. Got the oh no, I got two more to go. I lied to you all. I gotta do the extra large. Look at this. I'm just gonna try it on as we wait the 20 seconds there. I don't know if anything's gonna fit. This thing is huge. My brother would like this mask. He's got a big noggin. Oh, it's a big mask. Look at that on me. That is a big boy mask. Oh, I almost kind of like it though, because it's got so much breathable area. Ooh, it's a big boy mask. I like it. 2.66 E to the 4. I'll do the breathability measurements tomorrow morning. I'm not gonna. Well, maybe I'll do them tonight. I'm going to bed at 10 on the dot tonight. I gotta get a good night's sleep tonight. All right, so we'll copy all of this. Oops. And let's see, XXL. Whew, it's a big boy mask. All right. Almost done with testing for the night. This is a big boy mask, yeah. He's a big boy. You wear this mask, I tell you. I actually kind of like it. I kind of like the big mask. But you can look at my data here and be like, look, I wore a small, a regular, and XXL in a facing forward position. Now, it's not a full fit test, but like in general, my face fits a lot of masks, especially trifolds. And I find you can wear a smaller trifold easier. As soon as you start talking is when it fails. So if I did a true fit test, it would fail at the talking. 2.452 E to the 4. Too tall on my nose, but other than that, I like it. All right, called there at 83.56. 83.56. Whew. All right, one to go. One to go. We're on the final stretch. How long are we on so far? What's the current time? I guess it doesn't show me. 1 hour and 28 minutes. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I don't know. Am I going to bust out the port account tonight? I don't think so. I'm getting kind of tired. We'd have to port account that one mask. Oh, we wanted to test. Yeah, shit. I probably should do it. All right. Let's finish this one up. 2.253 E4. 2.253 E4. Okay. Let's pop this off. Do the last one. Now I got to figure out. This is it's a French name, but it's not a French mask. It is a Chinese mask, but it's Le Maire. Le Mairie. KN95. It actually has a part number too, LM05. Someone really liked this mask. Is it KN95? Let me just check it. It's KN95. Keep hitting 4 tonight. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. It's bifold. It's bedtime is what it is. Bifold. As worn. It's black. It's ear loop. And it's about to get hooked up. It's a small little one though. It's a baby mask. It's a baby mask. I punched this one a little high, so oops. We'll see how it works. This should be okay. Put you back. All right. Coming up to the last mask. If you have questions, throw them in there. I'll answer them while I set up the port account. I'll also review the difference between filtration efficiency for COVID respiratory aerosols, so like things that we're typically breathing out, that dry, they float around, and then you inhale them and you get COVID. And so that particle size is actually different than the test aerosol I used tonight. It's much bigger. You're not generating many 70 nanometer particles. In fact, probably none at all, to be honest with you. They're hard to generate. So we generate a different aerosol when you talk. All right, so let's throw this off. Let's throw on the Le Mairie. French. I'm going to nose pinch this one just because it's going to be quicker. The nose water leaks right there. It's a little small for me. Well, I called it at 7:15. 7:15. Yeah, not a great mask. I don't feel like it was leaking a ton. I felt fine on the bottom. I think the filter media is not so great in that mask. Just too bad. All right, so if you have any questions, throw them in now. We're going to switch over to the port account. We'll test a couple masks, see how I did. See if that N99 just didn't test better, but primarily because a leak in the mask at the interface. It's going to be hard for me to resolve that with this setup, so we'll switch over to the port account for a little bit. We use this setup because it's got tons of historical data correlated to it, so we're going to keep using the same method. So it's apples to apples to apples. But, all right, so throw questions if they have. Let's talk about why COVID respiratory aerosols are different in terms of size than others. Let's go to this. Now, this is like something I did just this week. So, oh, and I got to open it this way. So 1 second here. Let's see if I got it here somewhere. There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to show you this window. So 1 second here. Let me go to OBS. I can share this screen on OBS. Let's go to OBS. Oh, that's not OBS. OBS is here. Let's add a screen. Okay, and it's gonna be this one. All right, so y'all can see that. All right, so this is like not very beautifully set up, but here's what we have. So if we scroll down to the aerosol that I'm using in my space here. So let's go make the test aerosol that I have. So my mean is, what did I say, 50 nanometers. Okay. Oh, no, we don't want to scale. I need to find my filter mode. Here we go. Just a second, I'm just getting this set up here. Okay, there we go. All right, this isn't a beautiful thing. I haven't laid it. So let's say this is the test aerosol that I use. So this is what that distribution looks like. So our peak's right here on 50, and it goes to the edge. Now, if I take that distribution and I compare it to a typical filter penetration distribution, I fit this one to some existing test data, and it's up here available in the references up here. So I took the filter performance data of a typical respirator and my test aerosol, and I made an example. So like that test, this filter media with my room particle at a certain condition, I could get 82% or 98%, sorry, filtration efficiency. Let's make it a bad filter. So let's make it like a 100, 300. Oops, sorry. 400, 500, 600, 1,000. Oh, let's make it really bad. 3,000. Okay, that's an 8. So in my test, you would get this value right here, 83% filtration efficiency for this made-up filter media that is based on real results, but I'm tweaking it to make it match more consistently what we see here. So this is what that distribution would look like for filter penetration. So it's like 20% of these particles are passing over here. We can make it even a little worse. Let's make it a little wider, for example. I'm changing it, but we can do this. So we can go 0.8 with a sigma. It doesn't really change much here. All right, so there we go. So now it's, it's like 99% at 0.4, 0.5 micron. Okay, so this filter in my test would do 85%. Now, if we compare that to a typical respiratory aerosol, and this is what a typical respiratory aerosol looks like. You have two modes. You have mode 1 and 2. This first mode is breathing and talking. This is the particle size it generated. You notice that the peak mode, that's 100 nanometers, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 nanometers. That's the peak mode of a respiratory aerosol nuclei. And if we use that size distribution for that filter that we made up, that filter, so the filter that my test that does 85%, against COVID of this example respiratory distribution would do 99.8%. So when I say that the test that I do is worst case, that's what I mean, and that the filter media for bioaerosols like COVID is really good. Like N95 media is plenty. You don't really need to go beyond N95. So if you go to a P100, do you really get much? And the answer is not really, because the filtration efficiency for that respiratory size is already pretty damn good. Now, this is like based on some literature, so let's make this a little less risk adverse. So let's take this mode here and let's shrink it a little bit. So we can go and make that a little smaller. So let's say it says it's let's make it a 300 nanometer peak. So I moved it to the left. It's still 98.6 for a test of mine at 85. Now this is just the filter media. Remember, just the filter media really performs well against aerosols that are respiratory from humans. Wildfire smoke is a whole other thing, and that's why I think that N95s still need to have really good ratings for wildfire smoke. But in terms of respiratory aerosols, like the filter media does really, really well. And so what it comes down to is it's all about face bit. So you really need a respirator that fits your face well. And so when you're doing and you're seeing testing, doing N99 or N100 port account testing, or what I'm doing, which is total inward leakage test, is that unless you know how well the mask is actually fitting to your face, if the filter media is bad, then you don't really know the protection. And so that's why FaceFit is so important. That's why I started working on the fit testing, open source fit tester a year and a half ago, because I was like, look, this is what we got to do. You really need to know how well a mask fits on your face to do really much. And it's hard to measure, and if you want to get to 99 type, 1% leakage, you really need a specialty tool. So anyways, this is up on there. You can play with it yourself, download your own copy of it. This is what it looks like. But that's kind of what it means. I mean, like, you can make this whatever you want. Let's make it 100 nanometers. Okay, 100 nanometers is still 91%. You do not generate 100 nanometer aerosol. It's 600 is the actual value. That's what's out of the literature. So what would do 85 in my test is 99 for the filter media, but fit is a whole other topic. All right, I'm not going to save that because I messed with it. Anyways, that's an interesting diatribe about fit testing and aerosol. Too tiny to read. Sorry. Let's see. So for argument's sake, if I found a P100 with cool flow that is easier for me to breathe in and I'm habituated, does that mean I'm filtering much more than I need to? I'm living in a one-way masking situation due to my elevator. So John, so the question is, for argument's sake, am I over-filtering? Look, if the mask fits you better, if a P100, so P100 masks usually have designs that focus more on fit because of their high filtration efficiency and much higher breathing resistance, so it's harder to breathe in. So if it fits you and you're comfortable in it, yeah, keep rocking it. I mean, you can never have too much protection, but it comes with a trade-off, and that's breathability. And so that's why, it's a tough call to make. Like, what should we make respirator standards be like for bioaerosols for the general public? I think my argument is that we have the technology and filter media to make really breathable masks that are still 90, in terms of my test, it would be 98, 97% filtration efficiency. In terms of COVID, it's going to be 99 plus, right? We have that technology at our hand right now, so we should use that. We shouldn't abandon that. We could go to lower grade filter media, but I feel like that would be stupid. So, okay, so one knock on the Draeger, just sort of talking, I noticed this nose foam peels off way too easy. Oh, that's weird. It's just not stuck on well. It needs to get pushed down. So, interesting. Nose foam's not super well attached. And that's only for bioaerosols. So Michael J says, hey, can you say more about wildfire smoke in N95s? Are you saying good N95s are not sufficiently protective or not enough data? So here's the answer for wildfire smoke. So wildfire smoke is N95s are still protective. I don't think you I think the argument here is this is one of the few times that because depending on what you're doing, the duration of wear matters. In terms of COVID, we don't really care about the same kind of low-level exposure stuff that we would because you need to get an infectious dose and it's pretty dilute and a lot of other things. But wildfire smoke, you're breathing around all the time. And depending on how close you are to the wildfire, the concentration is very different. So if I was really close to a wildfire, I would want to wear probably something that's like a P100 with some vapor cartridges. If you're really, really close to the fire and you're going to be around it all day. Because you are going to get exposed to a lot of formaldehyde, a lot of benzene, and a really high number count for particles. And they're going to be really small, ultrafines, in the 70 nanometer range. So that's if you're really, really close to the fire. Now, if you're 100, or you're getting miles from the fire, 10s, 20, 100 miles, then probably you don't need the organic vapor cartridges as much. And an N95 is sufficient. So the ultrafine particle size is going to grow as you get away from the fire. They grow bigger. They're going to get to this 100 nanometer size. And 100 nanometer, as we remember, is still tough to filter. It's close to that MIPS, the most penetrating particle size for ultrastatic filter media. So for wildfires, here's a summary. The wildfires, if you're in New York City and you had that terrible smoke day, yeah, you should rock an N95. It's going to do a ton. It's going to reduce, it's going to take the AQI from 300 to 5 equivalent when wearing that mask. So yeah, it's a AQI 5 day in that mask that you're wearing. So it's a big deal. And so yeah, N95s are good. It just depends on if you're really, really close to the fire, that's when it becomes a different discussion because they're just exposed to a lot more gas phase stuff, vapors. From the combustion process, but as soon as you're downwind, they nucleate and grow. What do I wear here? For me, if I'm cycling, I like to wear either. So I actually had to go and I had a friend in town that was riding bikes. I wanted to really ride bikes and drove like 5 hours, and it was an bad air quality weekend. So I rocked a Seibu, Seibu Ultra that I normally rock and rode that when I biked and had no problem. Other than like really big efforts, I could feel it. I had to pull it down to do the big efforts up a hill, but 90% of the time I was rocking the mask, so I reduced my exposure significantly. So the answer is, if it's a bad air quality day, wear a mask. Wear an N95, wear something well-fitting. I was rocking an ear loop, but that was fitting well, so a well-fitting respirator is going to do a lot to reduce your exposure. Mike True says, in my situation, I'm not necessarily concerned about wildfire smoke so much as about in the central California Valley, like Fresno and the San Joaquin Valley, I'm assuming like Fresno in that area. We do see many days of high AQI. So if I was in the Fresno area, and I will be, September 7th, 9th, and 7th to 10th, I'll be in Fresno, or near Fresno. I'll be north of there in Hanford. All my family's from that area. If you're going to be outside for a long duration, I would definitely wear a respirator in that area. One, agricultural use uses pesticides, herbicides, all kinds of stuff that gets sprayed, and they form little aerosols. They float downstream, and you breathe them in. There's dust that gets picked up by farm equipment, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, if you see a bad AQI day in the Central Valley, it's not a bad idea to wear a respirator in that space for a lot of reasons if you're going to be outdoors a lot. And they also have, what's that disease too? Valley fever, they call it, or something like that. My grandma had that. I guess, yeah, she survived, but I guess it was really, really dicey. Anyways, mystery fact, another airborne disease. Okay. Let's put up the port account. If you have more questions, throw them up there. Otherwise, we're gonna switch over to the port account. I gotta clear some space here. So we're gonna test a couple respirators here. I haven't busted out the port account in a while. I hope it's all ready to go. It should be. All right, let's do this. Pop this like that, like that. Out comes the port account. Set it here. N95 Companion. If you're doing fit testing, highly recommend an N95 Companion. It's going to really give you even better detail. It's kind of like when we talk about masks, that there's always better and better masks, and there's better and better fit testing equipment. So, using just a standard port account without the N95 Companion, just like an N99 style test, those are still good, N100 style tests. But if you want to take it to the next level, then you got to rock the port account, because you really just want to know how well the mask fits you in the context of COVID, like we talked about. All right, I've got this bad boy. I got a charger for it. I got the wick loaded up. I'm going to have to disconnect something here. What am I going to disconnect? I'm going to disconnect my laptop for a second. It should be okay. It's got a lot of battery in it. I need an extension cord. All right. Okay, port account's plugged in. I need the connector here. All right, data port is connected. Now it's talking to the port account. If I get the freaking stupid thing in there, there it goes, there it goes. Let's connect the Ethernet connection, or not the Ethernet, the serial connection, excuse me. Connect the serial connection to the data port. There we go. Oh, which way does it go? This way? Data's connected. All right, we're going to disconnect the. I got to disconnect the CPC, so that data's going to go down. Connect that up here. Now we're up on there. We can close the Python script because it should air. Okay. What's next? I need this. I need that little guy. Uh-oh, I missed. Oh, there it is right there. All right. All right. Connect that to that. Connect that to that. Actually, it goes like that. All right, we are go. Turn it on. Connect that. Connect this. independent. All right, it's warming up. Let's see if we got any questions while I get real term going. For those that don't know, if you want to see how to use port account, you can still talk to it using the serial commands. There you go. So baud rate is super slow, 1200. No flow control needed. Let's see if I get the right data here. I think it's on parity. Let's see. 7 bits? 8 bits? I don't know, I used to remember it memorized. Now I don't remember what it is. Oh, there it is. There we go. Nope. Alright, what do we got wrong here? 7 bits? There we go. Concentration. Boom, boom, boom. Port account's up and running. Y'all can't see that, or maybe you can see that. Oh, you can see that. Excellent. Look. All right, make that a little bit bigger so y'all can read it, hopefully. Just got to watch that in OBS to make sure it's the right size. Oh, you're kind of creeping into that. All right. Bring it down a little bit this way. Okay, good. We're at the window that it's in. Well, I don't know why it's cutting it off, but hopefully you can see that concentration data in there. All right, so that's the port account, so all hooked up. So let's do the N99 first. So we got, I'm gonna fix the mask brace. So on the N99 version, we did not do much better than the N95. The reason being is I suspect I have a leak, which is why I can't resolve the difference. Let's find out. Oh, actually, well, I forgot to do my checkout. So before we do that, we always got to check out on the port account. 1 second here. So on the port account, there's 2 things you got to do. One, we got to make sure that this goes to 0 count, so you're going to see a really high count. Watch that concentration. So it's going to spike up 5,000, 7,000. Okay, I'm going to put the 0 count filter on. I want to make sure that the system can go to 0. So what's the minimum that it can go down to? There's 242, 60, 52. 60, 50. Let's try an action. That 0 count filter is probably bad. Luckily, I always have a backup. They get dropped and they go bad. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. 0. There we go. 0. Okay. So the system can resolve the 0. Disconnect that tube. You're going to see the concentration go back up. Okay. Connect it to the N95 companion. It's going to go down a little bit. All right, next thing I'm going to do is reach here and turn off the companion. So the voltage is off to the companion, the DMA voltage. This will also cause the count to go to 0. I shouldn't see any counts. It'll take a little while, but it should go to 0. It's coming down 2017, 1, 0. There we go, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so it's zeroed up. You got to do those checks beforehand to make sure that it works. Okay, there we're back up. So now we can don the mask. Do a fit test. Here we go. All right, so fit factor of 200. More than that, but that's what's going. So it's definitely not leaking on me. So I'm not sure what's up there. I also noticed it doesn't feel like the valve's opening up. And it is. Let's see what I actually got. So it only tells you 200, but you can calculate what it is. So fit factor is going to be the penetration at that particle size, so 0.018 divided by 145 roughly, times that by 100, so that's 0.12%. So 1 over 0.0012%, 833 is my fit factor. So N95 fit factor. So yeah, that means that, 99 point. So if again we look relative to a COVID aerosol in that static position that was in without talking or doing anything, I was getting 99.88% particle reduction. So my exposure was basically nothing. So yeah, that was not one. All right, let me answer a couple quick questions on the questions that people had. Is there any light and breathable mass that can handle elevated ozone days? So ozone is, unfortunately, is O3, so that's 3 molecules of oxygen stuck together. It makes it reactive with a lot of things. N95s can filter a little bit of it. It reacts with all the surface area, so it converts it from O3 to some other species, which isn't always great either. But carbon filters, so organic vapor cartridges and those that are activated carbon N95, so they call them like odor nuisance respirators, those ones will help with ozone. Not a ton, but they can help, like maybe 30, like it depends where you read, it's 30, 50%, something like that. But so that can help. So activated carbon does a great job. Came in during the middle of the Draeger, so I didn't hear about fit compared to Aura. The Draeger medium large I think fits very similar to the Aura based on the wearing it so far. So the medium large, and then they make a smaller one. Is the N99 a Canadian brand? Which N99 are you referring to? The Invo Pro? The Invo Pro is a U.S. company, as far as I understand. SleepNet is the company behind it. So while we're here, let me turn this off. We'll disconnect. We're going to do a port account N100 test. Let's just do that, and we'll see how this does on a port account N100. Because actually, you know what? Let's just go back to the CPC. The CPC is up and running. Let's do it. Actually, you know what we should do? Let's turn that back on. 1 second. 1 second. We'll check the GATA mask too before we go too far. Let's do that. Okay. I gotta put all this mess away. All right, you got more questions? Throw them up. Otherwise, it's bedtime for me here in a few minutes. We're gonna finish up here with the GATA mask. See if that was the issue, if we got leaks there or what. I'm getting lots of errors. But it's still working. I see the software giving me a hard time. All right. We're back up. All right, here we go. Oh! Damn it. That's my luck. Count was too low. Gotta start again. So someone asked, well, first, 21 Sugar Rush. I'm still watching these tests. That's awesome that you're still into the game this many years into it, 3 years later. El Mucho Grumpy asked, what's the difference between measurements with just a port account versus measurements with an N95 companion? Okay, there's a big difference, actually. So a port account, just the N99, N100 method, is exactly what I've done with my big CPC, the 3025A that you never can see on the camera that the laptop sits on top of. So basically the same style of test I've done this whole time. And so a port account test is a total inward leakage test. So it measures particles that go through the filter media and also particles that leak past the mask. Okay, so particles can come from either place. So you never really know, is it the filter media that's providing 98%, or did I have 2% leakage that was going through the mask? With the N95 companion, you size select particles that have a single charge to them. So these are particles that are ambient in the air and they charge. And those charged particles collect really at a high rate on the filter media. So what happens is when you use the N95 companion, what it does is it basically makes sure that all the particles get captured by the filter media. So if you measure any particles inside the mask, the only way they got there is by leaking around the filter media. And so what it is a measurement of leakage of the mask on your face. It's a measure of fit. Versus the N99, N100 is a measure of fit and filter performance. So it's like what they call a total inward leakage test. So let's try it with this GATA mask. This GATA mask in my test only got 80% filtration efficiency. Let's test to see, was that the filter or the seal? So here we're going to give it a second here. Sorry, it's leaking a little bit. These ear loops kind of suck. There we go. Oh, dang it. I thought I started the test. I hadn't. Sorry. All right, fit factor of 25, so it is leaking on me. So the most you're gonna, so it's not a ton of leakage, so it's a combination of filter media and mask. Something's leaking on that mask. I don't feel like it's leaking on my face, but it's hard to tell. Okay, let's do this quickly because I'm just curious to make sure. Oh, yeah, actually, what I was going to do. Let's do. I'm not going to take the mask off this time, so I'm going to rock the N99 here. Do the fit test. Get the 200. Disconnect the probe. Reconnect to my setup. And measure and see if I get another 99, 98%. If I do, then I'm going to say, that media. What? So here we go. And then it's going to be bedtime. Here we go. All right, so I got a fit factor of 200, so I passed wearing it just like this, okay? So, in fact, actually, if you do the math, I have a fit factor of the N95 of 454, okay? So it is not leaking at the face seal. I'm going to disconnect the tube here. I'm going to connect it to the CPC. Oh, actually, I don't want to connect to the CPC. Just one second. I got to connect us to the CPC. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of complexity. All right, let's do this. Let's take this off. Let me disconnect this. Let me reconnect the CPC. Okay, CPC is connected. Okay, counts are back up. Let me hide this script. Okay. .362 to 4. Okay, I'm going to connect the tube to the CPC now. So I never took the mask off my face. I called it 138. So I know it's not leaking at the interface, so I think the filter media may not perform as well as it says it does. At least in my test. Let me grab a few of these and drag it down. Alright, I'll pop it off. Alright, so anyways, not a leakage issue, different issue. Turn the port account off, put the stuff back in storage. Thank you, Mr. Port Account. Wait 20 seconds for the concentration to stabilize, and that is the last of the tests. All right. Call it there at 1.268 U4. 98.99. So it's probably a 99 media. I'm really surprised. It should do better than that. Maybe there's a leak on the filter media. Maybe it's small enough that I can't resolve it. I'm not sure. Okay, let's do this. Let's answer the questions. Someone says it's going to be a Taylor Swift summer surge. Yeah. What is Taylor Swift? Karma is my boyfriend. Some karma song. I hope she doesn't bring bad karma to the rest of us by spreading. But, people got to live too. They want to go to concerts. At least they're outdoors. That helps a lot. John, do you ever do these tests while speaking to test the filtration ability during speech while your jaw may be moving, which could affect the seal? No, I don't typically do an OSHA-style fit test, so I don't really do that. I do that when we test at Open Arrows for respirators there and for fit testing that we do at work to make sure that, it's not occupational conditions for fit testing. We just do it for COVID stuff, but we do it there, and I pass with almost everything, even with a Sabo. Kaylin M says, good to see you here. Likewise, thanks for joining us. El Mucho Grumpy says, I have a port account with an N95 companion, but no particle generator. Can I use essential oil diffuser with saline solution to generate particles? Perhaps. What salt concentration should I use? Here's my recommendation. Buy a ultrasonic dehumidifier. Ones that use like an ultrasonic piezo on the bottom. Use tap water and put an ultrasonic generator and put that on and turn it on, and that will work. You can light a candle. That will work as well with the N95 companion. And that should be enough. Tap water specifically has a lot of dissolved salts and ions on it already. So when you run the ultrasonic humidifier, they turn to droplets. Droplets evaporate, leaving behind these tiny particles. And then the N95 companion will work with those. So that would be what I would use for that. That should work just fine. But yeah, N95 companions are very useful for measuring true fit. And I think that if you want to start getting to these kind of crazy levels of fit factor where people are like, I want to reduce my inhaled dose by 99.8%, right? If you want to get to that level, you have to use a port account. And even the port account only goes to 99.5 technically. You have to do the math looking at the serial port to get the true value. They do that because of statistical accuracy associated with counts and all that stuff. Like they just put a line in the sand. I don't know exactly why. I don't have the details of why, but my guess is the statistical accuracy of the system is what drives that. So if you want to go to crazy high protection levels, you need to use an N95 companion with filtering face piece respirators because, as I explained before in that spreadsheet that's available in the Google Drive, that it comes down to the filter media is always going to be really high performing in these medias, and so it is all about fit. I can't stress that enough. Fit. And if you use an N100, N99 style port account measurement and you don't factor in filtration efficiency, then what happens is you start selecting respirators based on their filter media and fitting. And while that might be the least risky version, and it certainly will be the most protective, it really becomes not linear to the protection, meaning like you could have a mask that gets a fit factor of 50 on an N99, N100 port account style test, be within a fraction of a fraction of a tenth of a percent in terms of protection relative to COVID than a respirator that gets a fit factor of, let's say, 300 in that same test, right? In terms of COVID respiratory aerosols, those could be very similar. So if you're going to drive to really high numbers, you need to use an N95 companion. Otherwise, you'll just end up. I mean, look, the answer is if you get a high fit factor in an N99, N100 style port account test or total inner leakage test like I do, it is real, but it isn't representative of the protection for COVID. It works great for the considerations of wildfire smoke or ultrafine exposure, but not necessarily to COVID. Bunny Foo Foo says, cool, thanks for still doing this. Man, it's been useful. My pleasure. I'm just glad that the data set's useful to people. I'll keep going. YouTube Pass says, top 3 masks. Okay, so my top 3 masks, right now, I need to wear the Dragers. That's why I did this test, because I'm going to go wear Dragers for a couple days, see how I like them. I think right now, Aura, because they're so cheap and readily available. I'm going to be trying out the Dragers. Probably the Dragers are going to fit up there too. They're a nice mask so far. It seems pretty breathable. So that's a possibility. I don't know for sure. V-Flex 9105, highly breathable. In the bifold space, the Champac 520L/M is their medium large. It's available on Project N95. It's a pleated bifold, super breathable. Definitely would recommend it. In the cup space, it is the Moldex Airwave 4800 series respirator. It has the foam seal without the odor nuisance, so it's like super breathable. It's the most breathable mask I've actually tested to date. That's a cup style. That's what I would recommend. I don't think cup masks fit very well for most people, but if you like cups style masks, that's a great option. It's the most breathable one. If you notice a trend, it's all about the most breathable. In the ear loop space, it is going to be the Well Before Welcome series, the Well Before Pro series, which is even better, but a little bit more expensive, but they're really good. Shaz has been like knocking out of the park. He has a new one coming out. I hope to test soon. That's even better. The Seivu Ultra series, memories and all that different variety of the Seivus, they're super breathable. In the bifold space of ear loops, I always like the Powcoms and the Well Befores. They're also good. They're getting like their most breathable out there. I'd have to look at my data set. So the ear loop space, it's kind of like Seivu, Well Before, Powcom. Who else is out there making it breathable? One thing, asterisk, the Champac 520L also can be converted from headband to ear loop. So technically, I guess it fits in both buckets. So the ear loop would also include that one too. So those are my top mask picks. They all have one thing in common. They are highly breathable. I found that people that like the mask, like everyone at Open Arrows is wearing different masks. We all kind of what we like now because we get to test a lot of stuff and I bring a lot of stuff in. Almost everyone's like, yeah, I want a breathable mask. Vitacore is good too. I like the Vitacore. I wish that they were more breathable. I think Vitacore is good for the smaller, like it fits smaller faces. It's not actually smaller. I think there's the way that it's because it's softer. It conforms to the faces better than the Aura. So the Vitacore seems like a little bit smaller. I forgot for ear loop, Breathe Tech. So Breathe Tech is the other one. So it's Well Before, Breathe Tech, Seivu, and Powcom, and then the Champac 520 that you convert to ear loops. So I forgot Breathe Tech. That's a good U.S. source too. I like the Breathe Techs are good. They also have a nice aluminum nose wire, better than Seivu. I think Seivu has the worst nose wire out there right now, which is a bummer because I think it's the best mask if they had a better nose wire. I still wear it because it fits me in good enough for what I do, but like I wish it had a better nose wire. All right, any other questions? I'll wait for a second. We got 30 people. Throw them up there if you got questions. No Botan or LG or Bluna? No on the Botan. They've changed too much. Their nose wire is not that great. I feel like the breathability is not there. Blunas are good and LGs are good. They're just, the other ones are more breathable. I think the Seivu relative to the Bluna is like, I had a coworker at work who was wearing the Bluna and then he tried a couple Seivus and he was like, oh, I'm doing Seivu from here on out. Like, the Bluna's nice, but the Seivu is even nicer. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But to be clear, really any KF94 is good too. Any KF94 that fits your face nice and you're going to wear it, it's going to be good. They're protected. N95, same thing. If it fits you, it's good. If you wear it, it's good. Terry says I add aluminum nose wires to the Seivu. Yes. That's another way you can mask hack it and add different nose wires, but I just wish they came with it that way. I wish they had a nice aluminum nose wire on those. Honestly, it'd be amazing. Breathe Tech is KN95 because they're ear loops, so they can't go to the N95 standard, and that's the only general public mask standard that's widely available right now, which is sadly a Chinese standard. Not that there's anything wrong with the Chinese standard or people being from China or anything like that. It's just a little annoying that there's not a standard for the US or Canada for ear loop masks. We need a general public mask standard. And it is not going anywhere, I can tell you that. There is no progress in that space, but I will keep bugging people. All right, keep them going. I don't know if we froze or not. My live stream video on my side still has me with an N95 sitting in my face, so I don't know what happened there. So hopefully it's still live. Have you tried the Canada Mask Q100? I have not. Do they have a new mask that I wasn't unaware of? Canada Mask Q100. They haven't sent it to me, so that... Oh no, I haven't. I haven't tested the Q100. Oh, this is the CSA. Yeah, so this is the Canadian standard. Hey, look at that. Nice. Looks like their standard version. I wish they wouldn't make it in frickin' white. God dang it! Why do they always got to start in white? Looks like it's a rated mask. Good for them. 100 Pascal. Woohoo! No, I haven't tried it. I'll hit them up and see if they'll send me some. I won't get to it for a few months. Just warning everybody. But so no, I haven't. So another one I'm going to add on there. El Mucho Grumpy asks, any recommendations for an ear loop that's nice in the ears? That's why I like the Seifu. The Seifu Ultra 3D has the chonkiest ear loops of any mask I have tested today. They're like 7 millimeters wide, but that's only on the Ultra 3D, the white mask, and that's the only one that I know that has it. Lynn Merrill Handbell says, I've been using Prestige Ameritech. Yeah, the Prestige Ameritech duckbills are great. They're fairly breathable. They're just not the most breathable. I think if, we had to add another category, which is the best value. It's without a doubt the Jackson Safety N95. That's like the Kimberly Clark. At 10 cents a respirator, that's a pretty damn good deal for a pretty breathable mask. So if it fits you, those are a great option. Let's see, John says, on the other hand, white colors will be cooler for the coming heat waves. Yeah, yes, global warming results in extreme heat conditions and wildfires. And so, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense that you're going to be wearing a white respirator because it's so hot and the world's burning. So that's great. But yeah, at least respirators will keep you healthy. Yeah, although to be honest with you, I still think the recommendation of avoiding going outdoors is the better choice. If you're going to go outdoors, then wear a respirator. Because there's ozone and other chemicals you're going to get exposed to that you wouldn't get exposed to as much as indoors. But if you are going to go outside, an N95 is very useful for that. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Alan. Yeah, it's been another fun night of testing. I can't believe it was 6 months ago the last time I did it, but that's the way it goes. There'll be less testing. There'll be less masks that are coming out. More companies going out of business, unfortunately, which sucks, but we'll do what we can to keep everyone going. Otherwise, thanks, everybody. I will do... it is on my list before I head to... I got to go to a conference in the European Aerosol Conference at the end of this month. I got to fly out to Malaga for that. So my goal is to get a top mask picks video done before I fly out. So just a heads up, I will shoot that and talk about that. I got to wear some of these masks. That's why I was in here testing. So I'll get to wear that Draeger for a couple days and see how I think about it compared to Aura. I haven't worn an Aura in a while either, so I'll have to do that too. So anyways, thanks everybody. I hope you all have a great evening. Get to bed. We all got work tomorrow probably. So thanks everybody, and we'll catch you on the next video. All right, thanks everybody.